Welcome to another exciting and engaging, enlightening episode of Candid Conversations with me, your host, Rev Erma. And right out the gates this evening, we are going to be talking about creating masterpieces with fabric. And here to lead us in this conversation, or help me have this discussion, is Lester Welch. And Lester is known as a master designer right here in Barbados. And we are going to have a feel for everything that is possible under the sun. And as we seek to get that feel, because I know that sewing is no easy, what word should I use? No easy task, no easy task. But I do love the end result. So Lester, how did you get into designing? And it's not just sewing, okay? It's fashion designing. That's important. How did you get? Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
How did you get into this fashion designing?
It's such a pleasure to be here with you. And my story started actually in my 4th year at school, when my mother asked me to wear pants I didn't like. Pants just wasn't fitting right. I was coming from a short pants, and I was very, very small. I was very, very skinny. I just ignore all of this now. This is old age, right?
Time happens.
Yes.
No, maturity.
Yeah, maturity.
That's it. Maturity.
Correct.
Yes.
So I wore to school this pants that I hated because it made me look smaller than I actually was. And they used to tease me at school. Think you are so small, you're like a girl, and you are shaped and all that kind of thing. So my mom said, okay, here's the deal. Go and buy a piece of fabric and make your own pants. And I took up the challenge.
Just like that?
I took the challenge.
Did your mother sew?
No. My brother used to be a tailor, and my oldest sister used to make clothes. So I never used to watch them either. I just knew that I wasn't going to wear to school that pants. So I had one pants that fitted me extremely well, and I took it apart. And I put it back together, and I made my school pants. And that was my school pants for like a whole year. Yes, I wore it every single day. I washed it, and I wore it every single day. So out of that, I developed a love for making stuff. I never went anywhere to learn to sew. This is a God-given gift. Never went. You
serious?
I'm so serious.
You did not go to
Polytechnic.
the Polytechnic, the
I didn't
community
go
college?
to the community college. I didn't go to a tutor. Everything I wanted to do in terms of sewing, I can look at a garment and pick it apart with my eyes. And God gave me this talent to do this. And I've been doing this now for over almost 30 years.
Over 30 years?
Yes, please.
So you started at 10?
Thanks for the compliment. No? Thanks for the compliment.
Wow.
And it's so amazing how God orchestrated this whole thing for me, though. Because when I left school, I knew that I wanted to do something in terms of fashion and stuff like that, but I didn't know how I was going to get to that place. I like creating things and stuff like that. And I remember going to a garment factory in Harbor Road to see what I can gather there and learn. And I remember the first day I went to that job, I wasn't sure what they wanted me to do, but I know what they asked me to do. They asked me to take out garbage, and I got highly offended.
I would too.
I got highly offended. And then, on top of that, they didn't even give you gloves. So, I took up my bag, and I had a Bible, and I walked through the door and I left. So when I got home, I never forget this. My father asked me, you're back very early, and I told him what happened. He said, serve you right. Because I never told you to go look for work. I didn't go back. And then about 2 or 3 days, they called me and they asked me if I want to come back and stuff. I said, nah, I can't do this. And then out of that, I started to look around to see. And in the meanwhile, I was doing stuff, trying to learn how to do different things. And I think I started with the pants, and then I would make a shirt, and then I would look at a lady's skirt and see if I can pull it together and whatever. And then a beautiful opportunity arose for me. I saw an ad in the paper, and they wanted somebody with experience. Yes.
They want somebody with experience.
I didn't have it.
Exactly.
I didn't have it because I knew my capabilities then, because it was early, and it was in a bridal shop. the only bridal shop that opened in Barbados called Bridal Apparel.
Yes.
It used to be on Worthing.
I remember that, yes.
Correct. And I decided I was going to show up. And I went, and the lady, God bless her, she asked me, Mrs. Watson, she asked me, what can you do? And I told her, she says, all right, I can take a chance on you. And her mother used to be a lady who used to sew, her mother, and I used to work in the house, and she'd come out and she said, Lester, let me see that. You see that there? Turn it here. Lester, do this. I mean, everything I did, she was scrutinized. And she said, you know, there's a better way to do this. And she was an old lady in a chair, but she loved me and I loved her, right? And she was, okay, Lester, one thing I want you to remember. Anytime you make a garment, make sure that somebody can wear on the inside out. And that meant finishes.
Finishes.
And I became the top designer, the head designer at Bridal Apparel. I used to do all of her bridal stuff, and I worked there for like 10 years. So everything I learned in bridal, I learned from her.
And you learned it on the spot.
On the spot. She took a chance on me.
She took a chance on you. Isn't God good?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was all orchestrated for me, right? Because I had no experience. She didn't have to take a chance on me, but she did. And I spent like 10 years there, and then I decided like, I got to try this on my own, because it became very difficult to work at the store and then go home and then trying to, by that time I was getting pretty good and I had a clientele. Right?
Excuse me.
Good men and women and stuff. So it became a bit too much for me. So then I had to make the decision and then try to come out on my own. So that's where it started.
That's where you started. And as you design and make clothing, these various masterpieces, what's your favorite part of the process? Is it meeting the clients?
Beautiful. That's a beautiful question, actually. I remember there was a point in sewing and working, I got very frustrated. And I enjoyed the process of making. I didn't like the process of dealing with people. And I had to sit myself down one day and say, Lester, what's this going to be though? Because I can't work for anybody right now, right? I had a different approach then. I had to do two things. One of the first things I had to do is reassess myself. Lester, you going to do this or you're not going to do this? Last, how you can deal with people, because you know you got a problem, you just talk everything, right? I say how I feel, so I had to address that.
So you're in no fridge. Go ahead. Yes,
something like that.
Okay.
Right? So I tell you, so I had to ask the Lord to give me some grace to deal with that. And then I had to streamline what I wanted to do, because I didn't enjoy doing a lot of things after a while. So when I made that decision, I said, you know what, I'm going to do formal wear. And I started formal wear weddings and stuff like that. And then as it relates to people, I said to myself, you know what, I'm not going to sell clothes. I can sell the experience.
You can sell the experience?
I can sell the experience when you come with me.
Okay.
You're going to want to come back to my place.
Okay.
And I've done that ever since then.
How have you been able to achieve that?
All right. I do mostly brides. I do brides almost every week, right? I understand how a bride thinks, right? She's nervous about everything. She can become a bridezilla if you let her. She needs to know that everything is in place. I can bring you to my place and reassure you that the process of getting that bridal gown or going through that process, I can make myself available to you any hour of the day, any hour of the night, right? So that when you leave my place, you will not only talk about the stuff that I made, you will tell anybody, see what? Go to that man there. That man makes you very uncomfortable. And that's what I've sold.
And that you have sold the experience.
Yep.
So if you were to sell me, I already married, okay? But but just imagine.
Yeah.
Just imagine that I wanted to get married or was getting married like in June. Not June. Maybe June is too soon, but 3 months down the road, and I turn up to you with no idea absolutely what would suit me, because I was one of them people.
Okay.
Right? What would suit me? How would you walk me through that process?
Easy. Very easy. What do you like?
What do I like?
What kind of silhouettes do you like? What kind of shapes do you like? What do you think suits you best?
I don't know. I like flares, I think.
See, we start at a flare. So I get a pen and a paper, I draw a flare. So what do you think highlights you? What makes you look taller?
Yeah, something that would now be streamlined.
There you go.
And I want my arms covered, but I don't want them to be
all down.
All down.
Yes.
I still want to look sophisticated
and classy.
And classy, yes.
And elegant.
And definitely elegant.
There you go. You don't want to overdo it either.
I don't want to overdo it.
Right.
I want to leave things for the imagination.
There you go. So that's where it starts.
So I got to tell you all of that.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me, make the dress like this. Tell me what you like. Tell me you think you look best in. And I could tell you, you see that you think so, but that ain't really true.
Okay.
Right? I look at you, because some people come and say, okay, I want a wedding dress, and I want my dress off the shoulder, or I want a bustier, right? I see the picture before it happens. So I tell you like that, I see, but that ain't gonna really bring out the best of you, you know. And the beautiful thing about me is that my customers take my advice. And they expect me to critique them, all right? Tell me the truth, right? I've had to tell some clients some things. I have a different view of that. They say, I respect that, Lester, and I can go with that there, right? And most of the times they're happy.
And most of the times they're
yes,
happy.
They are
99% of the times they're happy.
Yeah, and then the rest is the garment, the actual garment and the fabric. And I'm gonna ask you about fabric. What kind of fabrics do you like? You like shiny fabric? You don't like you like heavy fabric? What do you like? You like stretchy fabric? You don't, right? And then I take it from there. And you can leave and come back tomorrow morning, I'll give you the dress.
And you will give me the dress?
Yeah, I've had some of those experiences where people turn up the day before the wedding.
Okay, so you do other things than formal?
Yes. I do like a lot of African stuff. Kofi always pulls me into his pageants and his fashion shows. So sometimes I step out of the box and do some other things. Actually, this year, my plan for summer was to do a summer line of comfortable clothing for the Caribbean ladies, right? Do cottons and stuff like that. It's easy-going clothes.
Easy-going clothes, and clothes that don't have to iron.
That you don't have to press and stuff like that. You just take up and put it, or then you can switch it up with something else. And I had a beautiful plan of using summer colors, oranges and yellows and pinks, and just give them names. So orange would be like Mary, and green would be Diane. And like, so you come in, you say, Lester, I want Diane. I know it's green. Okay. And that's something that I wanted to do this year, but I've been so busy.
So what happened?
So busy.
COVID happened?
No, COVID didn't stop me. Right?
So COVID has not impacted your production?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And that's something I'm so thankful for. Even during COVID, I never stopped working. I never stopped working. Never stopped working one day. And it was good because I like to maintain a routine. Right? I get up. Although I work from my house in the workshop next door, I get up and I do a routine. I get up and I shower, I do breakfast, I do my devotions, and I go to work.
Awesome.
I go to work.
Okay.
Very disciplined. Very disciplined worker.
I see. So, you create masterpieces, you interact with the clients, and all of this helps to project the image of the individual, and you sell the experience. And as I think of selling the experience, I now want you to tell me about the fashions that I could probably see, a collection that is going to happen, because I want to just imagine all of that. Just tell me about it.
All right. Specialize in formal wear and bridal wear. So I'm going to do some African stuff. Right? You're wearing a beautiful African piece, and I like how you got the
yes. So just make
nice.
Sure that
put you in the do.
Put me in the do.
Yes, I'm going to be doing. I'm going to show you African line, both male and female. For the male, I've used a lot of whites and black mixed with African. Right? And they're casual. So some of them are short pants and long pants, but very casual and easy to wear for the young men and whatever. For the ladies, and then you'll have plain fabric mixed with African and stuff like that. Showing that you have to only wear African stuff when it's African Awareness Month. But you can dress it up. You can wear it to a wedding. You can wear it to a cocktail party.
Boy, we are looking forward to this, Lester. It was truly a pleasure listening to you.
It was such a pleasure to be here.
Listening to you, talking about these masterpieces.
Yeah.
I could sew, but I could spell the word. Actually, let me just stop
Sewing
there.
is hard work.
Yes, it is.
It's hard work.
So I really appreciate you
It was such a pleasure being here.
and all that you do for us, making us look good and exceptional. So thank you so much for coming to share with us.
It's a
so
God
everybody,
thing.
check out Lester Welch. I don't know that he needs any work, but hey, there's always room. Always room.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Smarty, and I have some tips on how you can save energy. Old refrigerators use 5 times more electricity than new ones, and if they leak, they can be dangerous. Consider replacing all the appliances in your home with energy-efficient appliances. It's getting late, and we know it's easy to fall asleep watching TV or with the lights on, but these habits waste energy. Set the timer on your TV in case you fall asleep, and turn off the lights close to bedtime. Be smart about energy. Be an energy champion.
Welcome back to the lighter side of Candid Conversation, and with me on this journey is, I want to call him Mr. Energy, because he performed at our church last year and you just see him on the floor. He was full of energy. His name is Jude Clark. Jude, welcome to this Candid Conversation.
Thanks for having me.
It is such a joy. Who is Jude Clark?
Jude Clark, I'm a gospel artist. I started just about 2008 in my assembly, which is Kingdom Culture International.
Kingdom
Culture International, where
International.
The pastors are Apostle Bernard and Destiny Cadogan. About 2 years before 2008, my pastor prophesied to me and said, "You are going to become a singer." I didn't really see it coming. So they had they started what they called a gospel tape, 2008, which I actually the church started. And I said, let me enter for the fun of it. And let's just say after that night, the tank started, the nation was there. I remember John C. was saying, no, but this boy has to go there and sing. He has to go there and compete, which I actually did. I joined a tent at the time, which was House of Soca at the time. And I entered both competitions, Party Monarch and the Pickety Crowd. And by my surprise, I got the news that I had advanced to the finals on both.
On both?
Both categories, yeah. So that's how it started. And, at first I said, no, I didn't want it to be part of it. It was just the fun of it. But then, with counsel, go ahead. That's the only way you get your messages out like that. And the rest is history.
And the rest is history. So how would you describe the music that you create?
Yeah, well, I like whatever I sing, it has to be a part of me. I just don't sing songs because I want to sing it. It has to be a part of me. If I sing something about what is going on, I have to agree with it. Now, I'm not an actual writer. I wrote one song, and that one song, I got help with another guy in my assembly, which I advanced to the finals in 2009. And but I have other writers in the same assembly, where we would hear our pastor preach, and based on what he preached, we would write according to what the message is about, and that's how I sing myself. That's how my songs come about, because it's a part of me. I agree with it, and that's how it goes from there.
And that's how it goes for
you.
That's
how it goes.
And you were encouraged by your pastor.
Yes, that's right.
And how about the family influence?
Oh, well, my dad, he was always in support of what I do. And my mom, she was a singer in a church. And a lot of people know that Adrian Clark is my cousin. So I come from
that's AC, right?
Family. That's correct.
Okay,
Tony
singing
Grisette.
family. Okay, yes.
That's my cousin. You have Sammy Jane. So I I have
musical family. Yes, you have roots. You have
history. They're all
supportive. They're all very supportive and encouraging.
That's right. Yeah.
So, what is the best advice you've been given from persons, your friends, your family, as you navigate this musical journey? I would say.
Well, one of the advices I really took hold of is as a Christian and a gospel artist, they want me to live, outside of the stage, live
the life.
Live the life. Don't just say you are and then you do things that does not line up with the scriptures or whatever. So that's what I do. I live the life outside the stage. So you see me on stage, I'm the same person outside the stage. I encourage people. I live the word. You know what I mean? And that's how I would advise anyone. You just, whoever you say you are, be who you are.
And be confident in who you are.
Confident.
Because I said to you, nobody would ever imagine that Jude, the way that he's dressed with all his gold, that he is a gospel singer.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that when my pastors first met me, because before I met the church, I used to curse the church. I never wanted anything to do with the church. I said, not me, I ain't going in there, not me. I don't want anything to do with those people. But it so happened being a point, the lowest point of my life, where my mom died. These two pastors reached out to me when I was in depressed mode. I mean, seriously depressed. So they took me on, encouraged me, and that's how it all started for me. Started to give my life to the Lord, and they met me with all of my jewelry. I used to wear a lot of earrings, and I was so glad to hear when they said, Jude, don't worry about what you wear. We don't worry about this. We just want you to
live the life.
Yeah,
yes.
And they never told me about my jewelry, and I enjoyed it.
They didn't judge you.
No, they didn't.
Listen, yes, don't judge people.
Yeah.
Yes, just let them rise to their potential. Is it easy in the music industry, especially in the gospel industry?
Well, yes, but being part of the calypso arena, it was hard at first. People are accepting, Christians in crop over, and then with my jewelry, it started to cause a little talk around. And then I had my previous stage name. A lot of people probably know me by my previous stage name, which is Hee Haw.
Hee Haw.
Okay. Right? So that they also had a few, talk around. But it has gone a lot easier now for me. I think I know what I'm about, and I think people have been seeing me around for quite some time, and it's becoming a lot easier. I've been doing a lot of shows in the last couple of years, a lot of concerts, so I'm getting a few gigs now and then.
Awesome. So what message would you want to send to your fans?
Well, to my fans, I would like them to do like what I did at first. I give my life to the Lord. And you would see that there's purpose in Christ. There is definitely purpose in Christ, because before I started, I didn't have any purpose. I wanted to be, one of my goals before coming to Christ, I wanted to be one of the biggest drug lords in Barbados. For some reason, that didn't work out.
For the right reason, that did not work out. That you were headed down the wrong path.
Exactly. And I never thought the day would come that I would be able to become a singer. No, I don't only sing calypso. I sing reggae. I sing ballads. A lot of people prefer me to sing ballads, and so I'm gifted in areas that I never thought that I would be gifted.
That you've been gifted in.
So that was what my advice to be. First of all, come away from what you think is good, but which is really not good, and submit yourself to Christ, and you will see that your life will chart down a course that you never thought it would chart down.
And life becomes meaningful, purposeful, exciting.
It works.
Gives you all the energy that you put on the stage.
Now that a lot of people don't know that I'm still an athlete.
You're an athlete. Yes.
So I still compete. Otherwise, I'm a 400-meter runner. So I do my usual training every week. So it comes out on the stage.
It comes out on the stage. Listen, you should see this guy perform. Just awesome. So what is next for you?
Well, I'm in the process of completing my first musical album. that's having some challenges at this moment because of COVID and so on. But I'm still pushing for it, and I'm hoping by the ending of this year, I would have my first album.
Gospel
album.
Gospel album.
And it's going to have a mixture of music. And you know, I like hype music.
Yes,
so,
he loves
We're going to
hype.
have some of that on there. And I'm going to drop in a few ballads and a few reggae. You know, I'll give it a little mix to let people see that I can not only sing calypso, but I can do.
You are
genres.
versatile.
Yes.
Yes, with God you can do all things.
All things.
And that is not an understatement,
Yeah.
trust me.
Yeah.
Jude, it really was a pleasure
Yeah.
chatting with you, and I know that you will do well.
Yeah.
And we look forward to your album
Yeah.
and all the other performances. God continue to bless you, because music is international. Music soothes the soul. Music does a whole lot of things to you.
Right.
And when someone is performing for you, as you do,
Yeah.
I'm sure we are all lifted. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I feel like the cactus dub, you know. Come on, listen to this. Let me go pretty close. Let me go. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Let me go say I'm a winner, I'm a champion. If you're a winner, you're a winner. If you are a champion, let me see your hands. Hands in the air and show me, hands in the air and show me, hands in the air and show me. If you're a winner, hands in the air and show me, hands in the air and show me, hands in the air and show me. If you're a winner, greater is he who lives inside you. That's where my help comes from. I have power, and the opposition. Come on. So badness got to go. It's got to go. Wickedness got to go. It's got to go. Only love we show. Love we show. I elected nothing negative, I'm never true. 'Cause I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm a champion. Come on. If you're a winner, you're a winner. If you are a champion, let me see your hands. Hands in the air and show me. Hands in the air and show me. Hands in the air and show me. If you're a winner, hands in the air and show me. Hands in the air and show me. Hands in the air and show me. If you're a winner, I don't fall down. I don't stay down. I get back on my feet. Because the Most High living inside, and I can't get defeat. Come on, so haters got to go. They got to go. Traitors got to go. They got to go. Only love we show. Love we show. I elected nothing negative, I'm back I go. 'Cause I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm a champion. Come on, with you. If you're a winner, you're a winner. If you are a champion, let me see your hand. Come on, hands in the air and show me. Hands in the air and show me. Hands in the air and show me. If you're a winner, hands in the air and show me. Hands in the air and show me. Hands in the air and show me. Why yo yo, come on. Why yo yo. 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 Jealousy got to go. Got to go. Envy got to go. Got to go. Only love we show. Love we show. See it, let it back in negative, I'm better. 'Cause I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I'm a
think you got talent, huh? Well, this might be the opportunity for you. Whether you sing, dance, play an instrument, or do spoken word, then we're looking for you. The Community Independent Celebration Secretariat has been unearthing talent for over 20 years and invites persons of all ages to showcase their unique talents. To apply for the 2021 Parish Talent Shows, simply send an email to cics@barbados.gov.bb or contact your Parish Independence Committee for more information. I can't wait to see what they unearth this year.
What's your main event? Need to add a little glitz, glam, or a sprinkle of class to your next function? Then give Main Events Rental a call, as we provide premium decor, furniture, and soft furnishings to make baby showers, birthday parties, anniversary dinners, and other events a true spectacle. Contact us on Instagram at mainevent246 or via telephone at 246-241-8497. What's your main event?
Welcome back. And this time our conversation takes us along the road of beating cancer. And with me to share intimately is our well-known Antoine Williams, the activist, the entertainer, the local celebrity, and I must add in Brother Daddy.
You can wait to say that.
I could not wait to say that. I could not wait to say that. We are so happy that you could be with us, and having outlined all the characteristics or character images that you are known by, and certainly you're a well-loved person in our Barbadian society, indeed Caribbean, I should say. We got the sad news that you were diagnosed with cancer. So walk us through that time, that moment when you got the news, when you first found out.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me on the program, and certainly to share with you in a candid way.
Very candid way.
My own journey. So we're going back to 4 years ago. Just continuing doing what I normally do, going to work, you get involved and stuff. And it was around the Christmas period, I think. Sometimes that's kind of vague in my memory. But I do recall, actually, matter of fact, I can go back to crop over time, yeah. And I recall being tired and fatigued. I would, I'm seemingly active, but my body's telling me something different,
else.
Right? But I'm keeping quiet. I'm not saying a word. But all the time, must admit, my wife kept saying, Antoine, I do not like how you look. And I started to do that self-diagnosis. Oh man, it is probably my heart, it is probably my kidney stone. I just calling names out of the pulling up a name. And then in December, I remember in December, I did my check, my annual check then, but nothing changed. And in December, on the 14th of December, I never forget that.
And you
day.
have that day, you're etched in your mind.
Etched in my mind. It's because it's my anniversary day too.
Okay.
But not just because of that.
Yes,
We were at a wedding, and this young lady came up to me and she said, Antoine, I don't like how you look. And she said, let me see your hands. And I got stretched. And she said, look, your hands are too yellow. Your eyes don't, Antoine, something is wrong. Now, mind you, my wife is sitting next to me.
Yes.
So this young lady is really confirming all of what she has been saying to me, right? So we decided, let's get a check. So I made an appointment with another doctor, my cardiologist. And it so happened that I could not see her at that time. Then she called and said, look, I have an opening, so come to see me then. And we went. And she did all the normal thing. And then the next day, actually the night. So I said we went the Wednesday, the night she called the house. And she did not call and ask for me. I'm the patient.
Wow.
But she didn't ask for me. I spoke to my wife, and she said, when my wife came off the phone, she said, the doctor wants to see you in the morning.
Red flag.
And I'm like, oh dear, something is wrong. So I went. She said, check. She said, I do not know how you are living. Your blood count is at 4. You should not be living. So I had to get transfusions over a 2-day period.
And I distinctly remember lying in the bed and hearing a conversation between the doctor and my wife. They were not talking to me, but they were talking about me.
About you.
So I should listen, right?
Fair enough, yes.
And I heard the doctor say, I don't know, but I suspect it is cancer. I just said, don't worry about that. She, you know. And then she said, you got to go and get a colonoscopy. Now, the thing about that, just going back a bit, is this thing about not monitoring the signs that your body is telling you. And as men, in particular,
Yes.
we tend not to do it, I must confess. And that is what happened in my case. I wasn't really paying close attention to the signs as they were being shown. So when I went and I got the colonoscopy, a couple of days after we went, it was a Saturday, the gastroenterologist sat down and said, Mr. Williams, we got back the results, and you have cancer, colon. I turned to my wife, I turned to the gastroenterologist, and I said, so what's next? What do we do next? I don't waste time in terms of, oh, you're crying. No. What should we do next? This is not a pity party. This is no kadir. We working with this to sue. And that was my attitude from the very beginning. So after that, you go through the checks and so on, and it was like one thing after the next and so on. And that started the whole journey of surgery, 8-hour surgery, a journey of chemotherapy, 12 rounds of chemo.
12.
It was a whole journey, but it was, as I said prior to the start of the program, I enjoyed every minute of it. And that sounds awfully strange.
Yes, it does. Because I know, especially in my field, and people, when they hear cancer, it is a death sentence.
Yeah.
So you said you didn't cry, you wondered what next, but still, isn't there something in your mind that was saying, what happened? I'm going to die?
Look, the thing about it is that I didn't think of death in that sense. I didn't think of it that way at all. I knew that I needed to be business-like as far as this is concerned. So if I am not business-like and I wallow in what the circumstances, I'm doing two things. First of all, I'm making myself sicker. I'm creating an environment of confusion and pain and grief. No, let's just be business-like about this and make it happen. So death was nowhere in that structure when you think about it. As a matter of fact, I was, and in the process, if we had to refer to death, I was more concerned about the death of my personal brand. Because
your personal brand.
Because you can have a situation where, you know, as you get better, as you recover, people recognize you're recovering and so on. But then people start to get a little sympathetic. So let's say my name is referenced regarding the training session to be conducted or to do a show, you know. So, well, make sure you can use the car, you know, he is so well.
Oh, Lord, yes.
No. Let me be the one to tell you I'm not well. You can't do that for me. So that's why I was more concerned about when it comes to death, but not about the death in the other forms. So my family, I never encouraged them to think that way. You know.
You were positive from the get-go.
From the get-go. And that was the thing. Don't come to visit me with no tears, nothing like that. I'm not accommodating that.
Okay. Wow, that's really a good attitude to have.
Yeah.
Because I believe that once people succumb, and I would call it succumb to the word cancer, and then the diagnosis, they just give up.
Yeah.
But that was not your
That was not my,
stance
no.
at
And
all.
I'll tell you this too. I thought there were two things that followed through. One was the preparation, and I say that because I was introduced to cancer support services, and being a member of cancer support service. And mind you, I didn't have cancer.
Oh, I was just about to ask you.
I was just invited to be a member, and I accepted, and I became public relations officer. But by being in that environment, I learned about cancer. I witnessed persons dying. So I was kind of prepared. And then I also thought that this had purpose. This whole journey was purposeful from the very beginning. So why should I entertain death and confusion and Ta.
Do you mind telling? Do you mind telling us what stage cancer you
Stage
had?
4.
Stage 4.
Stage 4.
Yeah. So,
And that's when the people say, oh, you can die, boy. Stage 4, you can't live.
so you seriously had stage 4 cancer?
I seriously had stage 4 cancer. Up to this day, persons look at me and say, well, you look good. Because it's almost as though you're saying you're not supposed to look good because you had stage 4 cancer. But when we went to Miami to get the first PET scan, the doctor after the PET scan, he said, you know, stage 4, because stage 4 is really the spread of the cancer. So he said, well, what's the problem? You're not going to die. We can manage this. So the cancer started in the colon, and a part of the colon, I should say, and then it traveled to the liver. And that's where the spread would have been recognized. So all that was needed was to remove that part of the colon, remove that part of the liver, and you're good to go.
Wow.
Make it that easy, right?
Yeah, it sounds real easy, but we're really happy that you have begun the journey and that you are, like, I have to say, like the baby, looking real bad. He look real good, you know. Does not look like cancer, because cancer does not have a look.
I'm glad you said that. It does not have a look. And that's what we need to do. I've had since my diagnosis and going public and everything, I've had the opportunity to talk to a number of individuals. And I said that to them, you know, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Look at yourself. And what do you see? If you see cancer, come back and tell me. If you see ugliness, come back and tell me. Yeah, you're small, so what? But you're beautiful, and that's what you need to see. You cannot focus on the darkness that surrounds you. Yeah? And that's what, as a society, we need to get away from. And whether it is in your home, among your friends, even in the health institutions, we have to take a totally different twist as far as dealing with not just cancer, but let me say illness in general. Got to move away from them terms, man.
But your outlook, your perspective is quite different and unique, I must say, because I hark back on my tune, playing my tune again. When we are ill, when we are known to be ill, we just drop.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to say that, yes, we can beat this? What was that driving force? What?
I go back to that word purpose. For me, this had purpose. For me, I can say chosen. It was divine purpose and intent. And all that I went through. I remember, for example, when we went to meet the doctor, the surgeon, because, you know, they were prep you about things you got to do and so on. It was an 8-hour surgery. And he said to me, Antoine, boy, you're about to go through the valley of the shadow of death. And I said, Doc, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Huh? Let me do this, man. And that was it. Let's do this. So, because I realized that from the very outset, the young lady who came and said to me, let me see your hands, the fact that when I made that appointment, which was way down in the mouth, and then it was brought up at the point in time when when my blood count was at 4, yeah. A situation, for example, like when it was discovered that the cancer was in my colon, it was in my liver, we got to do a surgery. There's no doctor in Barbados who does that type of surgery, and it was 2 surgeries in one. And out of the blue, among a group of Chinese doctors, there was one in Barbados who conducted that type of surgery, right? At that time. So that's what I'm saying. It had purpose, and the purpose did not lead to death. So when I play all that in my head, I realized, Antoine, you don't have to be sad about this. You do not have to be sad, right? And that's been my attitude, for want of a better word, since then. If I may, during my downtime, I started doing some research and writings and so on. I found this quotation that, to my mind, sums it up. Suffering becomes beautiful when anyone bears great calamities with cheerfulness, not through insensibility, but through greatness of mind. That was like one of my affirmations, if you call it that.
Through greatness of mind.
Through greatness of mind.
So basically, we have to have a conditioning of mind
Exactly.
to appreciate all that we go
Correct.
through, and you realize that sickness is part of
It's
life.
part of life. It's
And
part
you
of
have
life.
to.
And it's a period. There's a time for all that. And you will come through it, and then you move on. Yes, I'm not saying that you don't reach death. That comes too, because that something depends on your physicality and all other factors. But I'm just saying that if you have the mindset and you talk to yourself and you tell yourself, this too will pass, I can deal with this because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then you're good to go.
Okay, and you need that support group around you.
And you need that support group.
So the
tell me
family-
about it. The family, close friends, yeah, that support group, you know. Persons who are going to just be there, not sometimes, you know, not necessarily physically walking with you, but you know they are there, right? And I had a lot of that.
And you had a lot of that.
Oh man, I tell you, when I went public, and I must confess, initially I didn't want to, and a group of friends of mine in the entertainment circle, I could call their names too.
Please do.
Shade Leon Slinger, Sissy Spencer Cross, Merle Niles, Red Plastic Bag, who we spoke to, their only Admiral. They were core. And of course, my family, right, including my wife, because my wife is not my family. I don't want to make that clear.
Yes,
You know that,
yes,
right?
I know that.
Your wife and your family.
Yes, I know that very well.
They all said, but Antoine, why would you not talk about this? People in Barbados know you. You come into people's houses. You sit, you are in their living rooms and they're enjoying you performing and so on. If you don't say anything, they will feel as though you have betrayed them. In any case, you're getting small. You gotta go to the oncology clinic. Well, people can see you walking by in the hospital. You want to then say, you got AIDS? Because you know how we talk.
You know,
he
yes.
bad. He got AIDS. Your bad dad, he got AIDS. Just tell them, man. And that I did. And listen, I was amazed by the outpouring of support and upliftment. Really was tremendous. But that's how it is.
Awesome. the family and friends are to be supportive in these times, especially.
Very much
and,
so.
and the mindset is important.
Very much so.
If
But you
we-
have to prepare them for it, though. You have to prepare them.
Why do we have to prepare?
Because, you know, you got to understand human nature to some extent. People will come and first of all, they have their own perceptions about how you look in hospital, how you feel, and they come with that. And they come with their own judgments too. And they come with their own fears and insecurities. So if you don't prepare them that this is an environment of love, of cheerfulness, you know, of support, then it's not going to work. So in my hospital, in my room, I remember in my room following my surgery, that's what it was like. I distinctly remember one evening the CEO of the hospital came to see me. And I was in there with some other friends of mine. And we were there laughing and talking. He said, but you had surgery? You're supposed to be sick and things. I said, yeah, but what? Let's get on with it, man.
Wow. So the treatment, the surgery, what time span did that?
That would have been about a year, 2. I mean, I'm still being treated, for want of a better word, up to yesterday. Today's what? Yeah, yesterday I had my 6-month review, which kind of gives a good check as to whether or not how you're doing. So it checks your liver, your kidney, your heart, you know, and then it obviously checks the tumor markers, right? Via blood tests, and that is the clear indicator as to how you were doing, and if the cancer, based on the markers, at what stage it could probably be at. So once it's at 1, you're good. If it's gone up to 3 or 4,
You got to check again.
Yeah.
You got to do some advanced checking. So what advice would you give to a person who's diagnosed with cancer?
1, listen to your doctor. That's the honest truth. You have to listen to your doctor. We also have to place trust in that individual, right?
And why you say that? Why you say
Because
listen?
no, I tell you what. If you don't, you can be consumed with so much information around you. Don't be a Google doctor. So I never Googled anything pertaining to cancer. No, what you want to do that for? Don't be no Google doctor. Don't listen to people who come and tell you, you got cancer. No, because they probably can't even spell the word cancer. Don't come telling me anything about cancer. You understand? The doctor will tell me that. I remember, for example, people were telling me, you shouldn't do chemo, you should do this. No. So listen to your doctor. So in other words, follow medical advice, because not sometimes just the doctor. It could be your dietitian. Yeah. So medical advice is important. 2, try to be as disciplined as possible. And that's not easy, but to try to be as disciplined as possible as far as the treatments are concerned and what you're supposed to do. Make sure that you have a good spiritual grounding. Yeah?
A good spiritual grounding.
And you can find that in the things you read, in conversations of this kind, in your own spiritual beliefs, as it were. But if you don't have that spiritual grounding, you're kind of like walking all over the place aimlessly. Yeah? And also, just praise yourself. Celebrate.
Even though I'm sick.
Even though you're sick, you celebrate still, because you're living. So what you understand what I'm saying? You celebrate, and don't pander to guilt. I remember once doctor said to me, the dietitian said to me, she said me, the do's and don'ts and so on. I said, I could eat pork. She said yes, because cut up in small pieces. Don't take big chunks, and just enjoy it. And that I did. But
yes.
We walked with too much guilt. So don't do that. If you feel to take a piece of chocolate, just take it.
Okay.
Don't overdo, because as the dietitian also said, moderation is key in everything. Right?
Moderation.
So those are the principles to my mind, and make sure that you cover yourself with affirmations, positive affirmations and upliftments, and list and talk, share with persons who are of that ilk. Don't go talking to people who will be crying. I tell you, listen, when I used to go down to the clinic for chemo, I would go outside and sit, because I'm not staying in that clinic among everybody who are there for the same reason, and who everybody, no. I go outside and sit. Now, when they're ready,
you want positive energy.
Oh, come on now. Let's sit down there. Everybody crying.
And wallow.
No, none of that. None of that.
And that is very important.
Extremely important.
You need to be in a happy environment.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's some things that you cannot, that can take over you, because cancer is invasive. In the early stages of my recovery, during my chemo periods and so on, there's some things I did not want to see or read about. Obituaries. I'm not reading about any obituaries. You're only thinking one thing.
Yes.
Commercials on television, whether local or international. If you see something about the cancer, American Cancer Society, click. I don't want to see that. Because it plays on you. But I've gotten better at that now. Way better than that, right? For those services, not me. I'm going to one.
Going to
not one. But I've gotten better now. I'm going to sing that for news services. Right? So it's a time process, right? And it never goes away. It never ever leaves you. Yeah. You may look well, you may feel good, but the emotional and the physical and the mental images and scars are still there.
Wow. You mentioned the Cancer Society.
Cancer support services.
Right. What groups are there for persons who, well, even before you were diagnosed, you were a member of
Cancer support services.
The cancer support services. So what other resources are available for persons?
Well, I would mention, obviously, Cancer Society. They do a lot of research work. Cancer support service, on the other hand, is more about support and care of those who are journeying with cancer and their families. Of course, if you beyond that, those are the two entities I can think of. But I'm sure there are other entities locally that the hospital, for example, also has its own way of sharing information to those persons who may have a particular type of cancer. Because that's the other thing too. What may apply to me will not necessarily apply to you because your cancer is different and your experience is different. Yeah.
But I think basically though, the most important thing is that if you are diagnosed with cancer, you listen to your doctor.
Listen to your doctor.
And
Or your medical team.
Your medical team.
Because it's not just the doctor, you can do a lot of other persons who are part of the process.
And you have a positive attitude.
Right through.
Right through.
Right through.
So how can we as Barbadians help persons who are diagnosed with cancer? And you did mention early that men are the ones who wait late.
Yeah, we tend to.
Yes.
Yeah.
How can we change that? And what can we do to assist those who have been
I think public education will help in that regard.
More public education?
More public education. At Cancer Support Services, we conduct PSA testings, and we realize the numbers are increasing in terms of the men who are attending to get their prostates checked. And at those sessions, we do some awareness as far as prostate cancer is concerned. What is the prostate? Why do you need to get your prostate checked and stuff like that? So you need that type of public education. When I was ill, I spoke with my surgeon, and we actually had looked at a campaign that speak about colon cancer, understanding that colon cancer is not just a quiet cancer. It's actually is almost like second or third in terms of attributing to deaths across the island. So public education is one thing, and then for persons to understand the benefits that can be accrued as it relates to early detection and screening.
This has been
we
a
could
real,
talk for
yeah, we could talk
more.
Yes, we could talk more the road on beating cancer. And I really want to congratulate you on being a cancer survivor.
Thank you.
And also on sharing, letting your life be an open book, because I believe that your sharing has helped a whole host of persons.
Yeah.
And as you continue, I just want to end up, because they say that early detection is the best cure.
Yeah, that's true.
When I was dating, my husband was born on the sign of cancer, so he said to me, if you catch it early, you can live. so as we wrap up, I want to encourage all persons, especially men, to do the checks and do the regular checks. And as you do the regular checks, don't be afraid if you get diagnosed. Just according to Antoine, work on it and stay with positive energy.
Yep, that's right.
And everything will be just all right. And that spirituality is extremely important. We need to be grounded.
Got to be grounded, man. You have
Antoine,
to be grounded.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
For coming to share with us. And my friends, this wraps it up for this session of Candid Conversations. We look forward to you joining us on the other occasion.